Welcome everyone. This is Zafi and this is my channel on YouTube. And with me, of course, is our favorite person, Songbird, grandmother Songbird. How are you? How is Colorado? It looks like a little cold there. What's going on?
I know it's always the weather is up and down. And apparently this year, Wednesday is snow day. Every Wednesday it snows. But March is we don't really have a spring here. So March is like usually a lot of storms and like that heavier snow. And but then my tulips and stuff are coming up. So
That's a good sign.
so spring is somewhere in the snow in the winter.
Well, my news is I just came back to Greece and to my little island from Egypt, and it was an amazing, amazing experience. And you asked me earlier, how is the change between Greece and Egypt? And what I told you, I want to go hide in Egypt.
You want to hide in the desert.
I want to go hide in the desert in my salt lakes. But we are going to talk about the new moon, the equinox, and Pluto going into Aquarius, and Neptune going into Pisces, which is the very powerful big planets are changing. I think Neptune is already in Pisces anyway, but what we were saying is that the new moon is happening in Pisces according to the Vedic astrology, and in the Western it would be in Aries. Okay.
Oh.
So it's this tough, but I normally follow the Vedic astrology. So it's water, water, water. As we talked about in our last video too, we talked about the salt and being amongst the water. And the message that I got, and Songbird agreed with me, she felt it too, is that sea salt is very important right now. And actually to take salt in our bodies, because I was meditating and I got this information that said that our body, our blood needs salt to survive. Correct? So yes. I didn't know that because I'm not a doctor. I just got it as a message. And I guess you know about it. So I have to research it, but I just got it as a message. And we want to talk to you about that, and also what the prophecies are in the Aztec calendar and all these things that are going on. So Songbird, go for it. What do you want to share? Where are we going to go with this new moon? What is going to happen?
Well, last week we talked about the shift of the Toltec New Year, and we're in a new year. And the first thing that happens in the new year is kind of the financial banking crisis. And that's actually prophesized that that's about to happen within the next couple of years. We're going to see major changes in the banking system, and inevitably some kind of crash will happen. And I think this has been prophesized well before that, right?
Yeah.
Like every time we go through a shift of currency, but there is going to be a huge change to money. And I think that we're already starting to see the shift of simplicity happening, where we have to choose a road. Are we going to go for a more spiritual road, or are we going to go for a more material road? And in the teachings, it says when those who choose a spiritual road will find more harmony, balance, peace, and happiness. And those who choose a material road will inevitably have more chaos and destruction. And we're going to see that happen more and more and more and more. And I think, like you're talking about with the astrology, especially with the Neptune transit, it's that people are going to either embrace the challenge, or they're going to numb out and tune out. And then we're going to see like epidemics of drugs and virtual reality and all these things to avoid. But then it's like unavoidable. At some point, you're going to have to look at which road am I going to choose, and what is my mark? Where do I want to go in my life? Because this is a life transforming moment. These next couple of years, and like starting now, really, we're going to really see that intensity of energy. It's really about, where are you going? Those days of like endless aiming and that is over.
Yeah.
You have to have clarity.
I agree. And also, it's not just Neptune. Neptune is going to be the addictions, correct? Because we want to run away from what is really happening. We cannot run away. And then Pluto is going to bring it up to your face because he's a transformative planet and it's going to stay 20 years in Aquarius. That's a long time. Now, the good thing, Pluto also is regeneration. It's actually death, but it regenerates the body. And if we continue with the soul remedies that we're going to give you, and we're going to talk about that, actually is Pluto is going to help you regenerate your body, is actually even going to cleanse your DNA. Like the true transformation of your DNA is going to happen with Pluto in Aquarius, which is that is an amazing thing, you know, to have that. And I have Pluto in the first house. So it is my body. So I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully I look younger.
I have Pluto in the 8th house, I think Scorpio or something.
Yeah, which is another powerful place for that to be, because it's of your spirituality, the deep down strong spirituality, correct? Like the occult in a sense. You're going to be, you know, like intuition with Neptune going somewhere. I don't know where your 8th house is, but because I never done your chart. So let's do it one day. You know, me and you would do.
We'll look at each other's
We
charts.
look at each other. You look at the calendar, I'll look at your chart.
Okay.
So what happens is with Neptune is because of it is the illusion, you got to really stay strong. And we're going to have a lot of people actually going into feeling not just depression, but also a very psychotic. There's going to be a lot of psychotic things are happening to people, you know? Forget the drugs. And also we're going to have a lot of deaths of drugs because people are going to be overdosing. And I even believe intuitively that is going to happen even with plant medicine.
Oh, so, yeah. Ooh, I got chills on that. You know, I've been saying that for years, is that this drug epidemic and all these people experimenting with things that they really shouldn't be experimenting with and doing them in the non-appropriate ways.
I agree.
It's all gonna come bubbling up, you know, because it's the greed thing that's being demolished, because spirituality is a money maker, it's a greedy thing. And so when you're abusing and misusing these tools, inevitably, like you said, it's gonna come in your face. Now we're gonna see it in the face and we can't run from it. We'll try. A lot of people will try. And the drug overdose thing, I've been seeing that more and more with clients. Like I even had a client a while ago, she had 2 sons overdosed.
Yep. Yeah, because people cannot handle the energy. It's very tough on them of what's going on.
Right. And I see a lot of spiritual psychosis too.
Yeah. Yeah. And because, you know, your body is going to crystallize with the soul. That's why we need the soul. So when you start crystallizing, you know, your body's changing and your DNA is going to change. So what you did 6 months ago, in the next 20 years, and you probably, some people already start seeing it, it's not going to be, how you say, useful anymore. What you did 6 months ago, you're not going to be able to do it from now on in your body. So it's not just about eating healthy, but it's also is taking care of the mind, because the mind is what it needs to be healthy to take care of what you're eating. Because if your mind is positive and you're spiritual, no matter what you put in your body, you're going to be healthy. Correct? You agree with that? Like if you bless your food, if you, you know, if you eat vegetarian, but you know, vegetarian is not just healthy, but what if it has poison? There's a lot of poison going on in the air. You know, we're having a lot of spraying. So every single food, every single chain in food is getting poisoned.
Yeah.
So it's the mind that we need to shift, and our spirituality that we need to shift. Of course, there's things that we've been talking about it for a very long time, but this is very obvious right now. It feels very obvious to me because Pluto also controls poison.
Now, yeah, you've seen all the poisons that have been happening with those train derailments and the toxins and
exactly. And you have Pluto in Scorpio. Well, the venom of the Scorpio, correct?
I have a lot of stuff in the Scorpio or in the 8th house there. And yeah, that's where I get all the spiritual stuff, the intensity, because it's the death and rebirth, right? Yeah. But you know, Scorpio, I always say, is that fire water. It's not water, it's fire. It's like,
it's fire.
Yeah, it's the venom. But it's also, I had this thought the other day that came to me, is like, if you ingest poison and you don't know it's poison, will you still be poisoned?
No.
See, and that's the mind thing, right?
Exactly.
That's what you're talking about with the mind, is that how can we be like the snake or the scorpion and take in the poison but not let it be poisonous to us?
Well,
That's
it's like the
hard to
placebo
come.
effect,
Yeah,
correct?
exactly.
Is when
Yeah.
they give you, when they do those studies, they give you a placebo effect, which is nothing in it, and then you heal, and then they give you the actual medicine and you don't heal.
Right.
I mean, that's been proven, correct? That's been proven with the doctors. But you have to understand the ancient people, what they used to do, specific the pharaohs with the snakes, because you know the Egypt desert has a lot of snakes and a lot of scorpions and all this stuff. They used to take a poison of that every day, like homeopathy.
Yeah. It's
So,
like belladonna plant is like
mhm,
that. They use it
mhm,
in pharmaceuticals. It's just the right amount of poison. It's actually healing.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like, how to know which. That's the thing with the drugs though too, is that they could be healing, but you're overdoing it.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know exactly. So it has to be under the right energy and the right people. You know, it's not like you can just go do a plant medicine every single day, because that's going to affect your body. But if you do it under the ceremonial way, and you do it under, maybe once a year, I mean, I'm not against it. I'm just saying we have to be careful from now on how we use them,
Yeah.
because
Yeah, I
that
agree.
can poison us, there's strychnine, like peyote. It's a form of strychnine, that's why you throw up, or ayahuasca, that's why you throw up, because your body cannot take that. Yeah, that's why you get sick.
Yeah, and the teachings around those sacred plants is it's not for everybody. It's
No.
like less than 1% of people will even know about the medicine, and then less than that will actually partake in a ceremony because it's an invitation from the spirits. It's not a human thing, but now it's becoming a human thing. I see ads on Facebook and all over, and it's like that's not the proper ways. It's supposed
I
to
see
be
even
invitation.
practices on TikTok. I was playing with TikTok the other day,
Oh man,
which I don't like TikTok, and they were actually showing how they were doing it.
I know.
Not
You know
because
what?
it's, to me, it's too much.
It's this whole thing of being out of integrity.
Hmm.
And that's what I'm noticing with TikTok too, is that most of the practitioners on TikTok just started with the pandemic. So they have less than 2 years of experience, and they're acting like they know all this stuff, and they're passing it along, and then millions of people are watching it thinking this is truth, and it's not. It's out of integrity with the teachings and the protocols, right? And so that's why I think there's all this stuff happening around it too, where it's like, oh, it's going to get banned, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, is because something in the energy is very chaotic and imbalanced, and Mother Nature will balance it somehow, right? And that's why I think for this next time, it really is about you finding your own truth within. That's
Exactly.
going to be the right medicine, because some people will go to the plant medicine, it will be transformative, and other people will go to the salt baths or other things, right? But the salt and the mineral kingdoms are calling us because those are the ancestors.
Exactly.
Those are the ancient ancestors. So when you're sitting in a salt bath, or when you're sitting with the rocks, like Sedona or wherever, you're sitting with energy that has been on the planet for millions and billions of years. And it moves at a slower vibration because it has that longevity.
And that's what heals you. It's
Yeah.
not the quick fix, because the
Yeah.
plant medicine and the ways getting advertised, or other drugs, it's a quick fix. We
Yeah.
gotta get away. We have to get away from the quick fixes. It's the same thing with the material war. What is a quick fix in the material war? I'm upset. Let me go shopping. You know.
Right. Yeah.
And then you go shopping, and then you're happy at that moment. And what happens after that? You're not happy anymore. After you
Yeah.
take the stuff home, okay, fine, I'll put it in the closet. And you still have tags in there. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
you still have your clothes with tags because you buy so much every day. So no matter what we do that is not stable, and it's not, how do you call it? A long-term situation, and we do it just to fix our moods, or because we cannot handle something, it's going to be a really big no in the energies that we're going now.
Yeah. I agree.
It's going to
And
really affect us in a really interesting way.
the candle is agreeing with you.
It's true.
It's all- but you know, that's the thing
The
is
fire.
the fire. It's the quick fixes that you think, you know, oh, I'm already healed, or oh, I already know everything, or oh, I'm the teacher and the guru now. It's that energy is false. And I just did a video about that where it's false confidence versus real confidence. And
Mhm.
real confidence is humility. It's the ability to know what your strengths and weaknesses are and to ask for help. When you think you know it all, you'll never be able to ask for help. And then everything starts crumbling. And we'll start to see that, I think, in the world. We're going to see a lot of these gurus and leaders and different people who think they know it all. That's all crumbling. So that real leadership can come up now, because that's what we need right now. As everything starts collapsing, people are going to look for who they can trust.
Well, everything's collapsing. The political is collapsing. Look what's happening in France. Look what's happening here in Greece with the train collapsing and what the politicians did for the past 20 years. You know, I'm not a political person. I don't care. I mean, you know, we have a system that had a system for the trains, and the system has been there 20 years and they never put it in use. So 2 trains collapsed. We lost almost 67 people, all young generation, and they're missing more. And then not, they're probably like 100 people are dead and they don't even talk about it. So people are losing trust on everything now because the truth is showing up, you know?
Yeah.
So you're right. Where are you going to find trust is about building yourself, feeling secure with yourself, and becoming your own guru, because with Neptune in Pisces also, you're going to become very intuitive.
Yeah.
So if you already have that energy coming in from the universe, and then you do drugs on top, then you're going to become psychotic.
Yeah.
Because those two don't blend, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Your intuition doesn't blend with drugs or alcohol or any of that. You know, I used to do my glass of wine. You know, I'm not going to say I never did. I did that. But you know what? I stopped when, you know, 5, 10 years ago now. I don't remember how long ago it is, you know, and I stopped because I saw that even a glass of wine once a week, it wasn't good for me.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't feel right to my body. You know what I mean? So, and then I did a big initiation in India, and they said no more liquor for you. Done. No more drinking. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, okay, I have to test that. And you know, I tested myself. And you know where my thing was when I flied? Because when I fly, I like to have a glass of wine just to go to sleep. You know what I mean? To relax. And I said to myself, if I can pass this test after my initiation, I'll be happy. Guess what? I put my mind into it and passed the test. I didn't want the glass of wine to relax.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have to have that strength to let go of all those little things that we think it doesn't bother us, or we're not addicted to, or, oh my God, this is safe. Let me do that. And this is, you know, okay. And let me do that. It might not be. So put yourself into a test and see what you really want to do and what you really true guru inside, not me and you, but you true guru inside says, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. And like I was thinking, because I've been telling my students, you have to now ask for the spiritual helpers to help you. So like if you have addictions, and like I had one student, she's just quit smoking for 29 years of smoking. And that's an incredible battle because that's a spirit that has been with her for 29 years. And it's like, ask the spiritual helpers, do an ancestral offer, do something so that you can get that strength and courage. You have to ask for help. People drown every day and then they overdose and they die because they can't ask for help.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. We have to be able to ask for help and see it as a strength and not a weakness. And because, you know, the devastating part about it is the people left behind. And they're always wondering, what could I have done? Could I have done something to help that person? Right? Because it's human nature to want to help somebody. And it's also human nature to receive help.
And people are afraid of asking.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very important to ask. It's very important to say, even a healer should ask another healer for some help. You know, why not? We're not perfect. You know, if I need to like have a little session or something that I don't get, I will pick up a call, you know, a friend and say, can you help me?
Yeah.
we got to do that. We got to heal each other. We got to continue helping each other. And if sometimes if someone doesn't want it and you feel like you need to help, just ask, to say, can I give you a hand? And if they say no, just back off, let it go, let them come to you. But if you see them, and if you feel strong enough that you can help it, not because of your ego, but because you feel like you can help, then you can offer it. And if they say no, that's it. You backed off. You back off.
Yeah, and they'll know where to go for the help, right?
Yeah.
Later. It's funny because just recently I was at my mom's acupuncturist and there was a lady really struggling with her kid. And I was like, oh, I really want to help her, but she was so, into that stuff. And I was like, oh, And then funny enough is that the acupuncturist referred her to me. So it's like when you really need something, the universe will find a way.
Exactly.
Find a way to get you to where you need to go when you need to go there and work out all those details. But I think it's the mind thing. It really, all of everything we're talking about today is about mind
Yes.
training, mind alchemy, changing the way you think, because the world is changing. And if we keep going into the world as we used to, like pre-2020, it's just not going to work. Everything's speeding up.
And pre 2023 too, because it's like,
Yeah, I know,
what I mean?
forget 2020.
You went too far back. It's gone. That's been, I'm joking. But
I know,
even a
yeah.
couple months ago, things are changed. I feel coming back from Egypt a different person. And I've been gone for a month. A totally different person with a different energy. I mean, I got to go to this Sufi grave, because there's a story there. There's 9 Sufi graves that those guys came down, and they were kind of like giants. Very amazing. It's this whole story that one day I'll talk about. But I went there, and it was, I've been trying to go there for a long time. And like every time I go to Egypt, I try to get there and I never make it. And this one, I just tell my friend as he was driving, I said, can we just go today, because it's in a private place and you cannot go? You have to ask permission to go. And he says, let me make a call. And he makes a call and we're ready to go. But what I mean by that is allow your intuition to tell you what you need at the moment that you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't struggle with, oh my God, am I supposed to go? What if I call and they don't want me? No, just make a call. And if you're supposed to go, you will go. If you're not supposed to go, you don't go. You know what I mean?
Right.
But don't be upset. Oh my God, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. No. Like I said, I've been trying for 3 years. And finally, my intuition said, okay, ask today. And I asked and I went. It happened.
That's why you went over there. Right?
Yeah.
Because you were guided the whole way there
Mhm.
to see the things you needed to see and get the energy, and you're going to power spots, so you're receiving that activation. And that's the thing, is like we get so caught up in the material stuff around it, right? Because the time, the money, the this, the that. And that's why a lot of people don't progress in their spiritual path, because the intuition will say, hey, let's go do this. And the mind will say, oh, and it'll put all these roadblocks and obstacles that aren't really there. And then your whole life could pass by and you don't get to do those things.
So what happens? This new moon is going to be about you really balance your mind. It's about you really asking for help. It's about you really saying, I'm not going to run away. I'm not going to do the stuff that takes me out of my body, but be in your body. Do the salt baths. Drink a lot of water. Maybe buy even gray salt, the Celtic salt, and start using it in your food. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but if you don't buy any more Louis Vuitton bags, I just said that. I don't know. You can actually just buy the gray salt, and it will really kind of help you to balance your body, because we need salt and water starting with this new moon. It's very important.
Yeah,
and also
because
salt baths.
yeah, and if you think about it, like our bodies are so mineral depleted because the soil doesn't have the minerals, the air, everything that we used to get minerals from are depleted.
Yes.
All the nutrients have been taken out. Even our water has no nutrients. Like if you buy water, it has nothing in it.
Nothing.
And so we have to put those things back. Like some people use those electrolyte things or salt water. Or, we have to think about these things because that is a big part of our mental health. When you're
I
nutrient deficient, you can't think properly.
Yeah, I agree. And of course, the doctors say don't do salt because it does that. But you wouldn't have gone there if you did it correctly, if you did the salt correctly, or if you did your water intake correctly, or if you mind that you're gonna be, you're gonna be okay. So, excuse me, what I really want to point out, think about Pluto going into Aquarius as really a transformative planet. And see your body transform and think about it and feel it when you meditate, that my body's transforming. That, yeah, there might be a lot of, Pluto is a lot of deaths around, people leave when Pluto comes because, he's the underworld god. But also you can transform your body and you don't have to leave. Like I said, depends what it's doing to you, and depends on what your life is about. But really focus. I think the most thing that we want to tell our audience, and it's just, this time is it's more important than every other time, I felt.
Yeah, this week, especially, it's going to be the marker for the whole year.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to set the tone. So it's like we were talking about last time, like clean out your environment, do a sea salt bath, get clear, go do some meditations, think about where you are now and the direction you're headed in. I think it's really important more than ever to set a direction.
Yeah.
Right. And not have goals so much, but just a direction.
Well, goals don't make sense, correct? Because you can say, I'll set this goal and you never reach it. But if you have a direction,
Yeah, direction, a path. Okay, if I go on this path, these are the things needed. And then you do the spiritual part, but you do the physical part, right? You have to do the physical part because the spiritual part gives the guidance, and then the physical is the action of doing it. So like if you had the intuition, oh, I want to go to this place, but you didn't make the call,
you will never go. Correct?
Yeah, I could just be sitting there, oh, next time I go or whatever. But I think as we've learned in these last few years, is there maybe never a next time?
Well, I have to tell you, very interesting. I was hanging out with some Bedouins and some Siwans people. They're very like Sufi, and they're desert people, correct? So I was like, oh, next time I'll come here, I'm going to drive. We were driving, and this friend of mine stops the car and says, take it now. Take it now. Why you mean next time? We were in the desert. We were in the dunes. It's like, take it now. You know how to drive automatic? Because I backed up his car. We were somewhere else, and I backed the car up and move it from one place. He was swimming, and I wasn't swimming. With me and my friend were hanging out, and he was with some other people swimming. And he's like, my keys is there. Can you take it? Can you drive an automatic? I said, yeah. So I backed it up. So 2 days later, after we're coming back from this incredible place that we went to see the giant, I said, oh, one of those days I'm going to drive in the dunes and I'm going to learn how to drive. He's like, take it now. There's no tomorrow. And
there's no tomorrow.
It's like right at that moment. And I looked at him and I'm like, you're very wise, aren't you? I'll take it now.
Yeah, that's the lesson, is take it now. Take what opportunities are coming to you. Take what guidance is coming to you. Like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not guaranteed. And tomorrow is, what I notice about people who always say, oh, later or next time, like you go to a place and they say, oh, next time I'll do this. I learned that when I was in Korea. I was going to see a Buddhist ceremony for the sunrise at this ancient temple, and I didn't go. And I was like, oh, next time I'll go. Well, you know what happened? Of course, I've never been back since that time, but the temple burned down that day.
Oh, no.
The last sunrise ceremony.
Wow.
At that, and it was like a 5,000-year temple. And I was like, wow, that was like the biggest lesson in impermanence. That's the main Buddhist teaching, is like life is impermanent. Things are changed. I was like, dang, that was stupid thing for me to say, oh, I'll see it next time. No, I'm not going to see it next time. The temple burned.
And I get that, when I do like spiritual trips, a lot of my clients say, "Oh my God, I would love to be there," and but we do it next time, and then we do it next. Sometimes there's no next time because the next time can be a different process. It can be a different way. It might not be there. It might be somewhere else. You don't know. It's not that it's not going to happen, but you don't know where you're going to be next time. Also,
Yeah, and you might have the resources now, and then later you don't. You
yeah,
might have
or yeah.
the time, the energy, and all that stuff. But a lot of people, I think that's the thing we learned about the older generation is that they worked so hard to retire. And then when they retired, they were going to do all that stuff. But by the time you get to retirement, you're tired. That's the word, retire. You're tired. And you don't have the same health, you don't have the vitality, you don't have the energy, you don't have maybe the resources. There's a lot of things that can stand in the way if you wait till then. There is no tomorrow.
There's right now at this moment. I agree.
Yeah, when you're in it, yeah, take the wheel and go, right?
So
Just do it now.
do it now. That, like I said, I told you, they just said, just take the wheel. And I said, you guys trust me? The bad ones were in there and the C ones. I'm like, we trust you. Take the car. He didn't care. It's like the moment is now. You know how to drive, take it now. And I'm like, you sure you want me to drive up and down and be in the sand and go to yeah, take it. And I said, okay, when we get into the city, because they drive a little bit, there's no lights, correct? There's no lights in Egypt. So when it's better to drive in the dunes than it is to drive in the city. But I said, okay, when we get to the city, because she let me drive the whole way, taking it out of the dunes and taking it to the highway. And I said, when we get to the city, I want to give it to you because there were other people in there. It wasn't me and him. You know what I'm saying? That if I make a mistake or something, and
Yeah.
he's like, just take it out, take my car now. I mean, that is totally trusting that moment. Instead of me being in my fear, saying, no, 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 I don't want to take your car or find the excuse. I'm like, okay.
Take it now because there may not be a later.
So, this is the most important thing in our lives is we forget to take the opportunities that come in front of us, and specific in the spiritual path. Because like you said, your temple, the temple got burned down.
Yeah. Temple got burned down. And of course they rebuilt it, but it's not the same.
No, the energy is there, but it's
the energies, but
yeah.
not the architecture and everything from 5,000 years ago is not the same as now. And it's all modernized, right? Yeah. So the thing is that this week, whatever your intuition and your spirit is saying, this is what you need to do now. It might be things like do your taxes. It might be things like, clean out your closet. It might be small things, but do it now.
Yeah.
Just absolutely. Do it. Don't let things pile up. Because when they pile up is when you feel overwhelmed, chaos, destructing, you'll want to numb out when you don't do it now.
And when we're talking about the material war is very important in our lives. And of course, it's a blessing to have it, correct? That's the way I see the material war. But do it with a way that is not even limit you. Do it sincerely. Do it if you need it, not just because you need to do it as an addiction, or you need to shop just because you need to shop, to get rid of an emotion or something like that. It's okay to have money. We have nothing against the money. I feel nothing against that. I love having money. I don't have it all the time, but I love having it. You know how that is. But it's about you really even be sincere and even connect to that with respect, because that's the balance. Everything that we do in the world, we need to have balance. The spirituality, the material world, the driving, the doing our taxes, whatever it is, needs to have balance.
Yeah, and gratitude that you're able to do those things, because there's a lot of people who aren't able to do those things. And when you can, I think that's what changes the whole frequency of it, is the gratitude and the appreciation you have for the material things. Because the material is like a tool. It's just what you're going to use. Like you need to have a house or a place to live, right? You need to have shelter, at least. You need to have food. You need to have water. You need to have clothes. You need to have those necessities. And everything beyond that is a blessing too. You know, they enhance your life. They make things better, make things more convenient. But it's the attitude of wanting more, 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 and there's never enough because of a spiritual hole inside.
Yeah.
And that's what we're healing, because the material stuff is dwindling. You know, it's a never ending hamster wheel. If you always want more, 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 there's always another handbag, another shirt, another this, another that. It's never ending, but it's more about appreciating and being grateful for what you do have and sharing what you can too.
Well, you know, the financial collapse happened. People lost half of their money or three-quarters of the money or whatever it is. I mean, and what it was in the bank, so you didn't even know you had it. You just had a number and a bunch of zeros next to it. Big deal.
Yeah.
You just
But
lost it all.
people get so caught up in that number.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's just a number on a screen that actually the bank gave away. Then they lost your number on the screen. So it's like all, like you're saying with the Neptune, it's an illusion.
Yep.
That's the illusion of this world. It's like, unless you physically see it, it's not really there. And even if you do physically see it, you're spending it, you're giving it. It's like an energy exchange, right? So when we just see a number on the screen and we get so attached to that number and it goes, what did you really lose?
Nothing.
You lost a number on a screen. But now then there's the repercussions of it, because they can't pay payroll or whatever, you know, the businesses, right? But then that's also a wake up for the employees, because the employees are like, what kind of company am I working for, and where is my money? And it kind of wakes you up to where are the resources really, and where are they coming from, and am I safe to put my money in that place?
And now this is the wake up calls we're going to have this year, starting and this new moon. One wake up call after another. We all going to get it. I mean, that's like a prediction for me. We all going to get continuously wake up calls this year.
And they have to follow your intuition.
Yeah.
Because your intuition will know how to get out of those wake up calls. Like, where, like, say you put your money in a bank and it fails, your intuition would have told you that probably 2 weeks ago. Take your money out, do this,
Yeah.
do that, that. But when people miss the call, like they said, when the bank fell, people kept having the faith in it, even though they saw people pulling their money out and everything. They said, oh, it'll be okay, it'll be okay. And then the thing fell in 48 hours. It's like, the intuition, I'm sure, said, oh, we better move, we better do this, we better do that, you know, because your intuition will move much faster than the material world will.
Yeah, but you see, people don't want to believe their intuition because they don't listen to it. What they want to believe is what they know. So they know that a bank is going to stay safe no matter what, nothing's going to happen. And then in 48 hours, everything was gone. So that's also proof that we need to start listening more, you know, and listen to the first thought that comes in instead of, like, you know, analyzing it with our minds, because I believe your first 60 seconds is your true intuition.
Yeah,
Then your mind jumps in there and makes a big mess. It makes a chaos.
I call it the ping pong, where it goes, you know, it starts ping ponging, because the first thing is so radical. Usually your intuition is radical.
Yeah.
It's like, pull your money out of the bank. That's like a radical thought for a lot of people. But then the next thought is, oh no, that bank is big. It's like, and it starts ping ponging, right? But people who are smart with intuition are usually the smartest business people too. And they'll know, oh, something's up. And they've already got it.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's, you know, well, I think that's pretty good. So take your soul baths, right? That's where we're going to start. All right. Start taking your soul baths, even if you have to do it every night. I'm surrounded in an island, so I'm surrounded by salt water all day long. Just came from salt water in, excuse me, in Egypt. You remember that salt that I showed you? I brought some back. Not so
Oh,
big.
yeah. I was thinking, I was like, probably she's gonna bring back some salt.
Yeah, I brought some. You know, my suitcases, thank God, it was like I was gonna bring a rug bag that I bought a year ago, but I left it there because my intuition says I might move there.
Oh.
So anyway, we'll see. It's another story to talk about.
Oh,
Maybe 10 years from now, but I left the rug with my friends. So I brought a lot of salt.
Okay. Dump the rug so you can bring the salt.
Yeah, I left the rug so I can bring the salt was more important, correct?
Right.
And
Well,
mud. I brought mud for my hair and salt. That's what and it was all, nothing cost me because I can get the mud from the mountain
mm,
and I can get the salt from the salt areas. So I brought some stuff back that cost me nothing. What cost me, I left it back.
I know, isn't that funny? I was thinking about that too because I went to Chimayo where they have the healing dirt, and that's like my most precious thing, right? And then my friend just got me some Tibetan sand mandala salt or sand, and she's like, "I'm gonna send it certified mail because it's so important." Like those are the things that actually have the most meaning for us, you know. You had salt and mud and dirt and sand, or the Montezuma water, like those are
Yeah,
the things I'm like, these are so precious.
that's the truth. That is precious to us. So like I said, I bought the rug a year ago. I said, oh, let me just take my extra suitcase with me, and I put the rug in the suitcase. No, I left it. I'm like, I don't care about the rug. I'll just keep back salt and sand. And not sand, mud.
sand, sand, salt, mud.
All of it. All of it is good. So, this is what we need to start thinking what's important and what really to take care of ourselves, because another rug, no big deal. Who cares? Another purse, it's no big deal. We got so much. We have so much materialistic world. Let's just blend it now with our spiritual world and take care of ourselves and take care of our bodies, because if we follow our intuitions, we'll be at the right place at the right time. That's all
Yeah,
I have to say.
exactly. I agree. And I think most importantly is just if you follow the roadmap, which is your intuition, and you do it now, you'll be very successful this year.
I agree. And please, you guys, share these videos and like those videos, because me and Songbird love to do them, but we like other people to get them also and to hear them and to see them. So on that note, we're gonna say thank you for watching us, and thank you for being subscribing, and we're gonna come back to you with some more stuff next week.
Okay.
Thank you, Songbird, so much.